Okay, year 5, so for today's maths lesson, we are going to do 2 digits multiplied by 2 digits. This is also known as long multiplication. So far, you've only done short multiplication, where you've worked out 2 digits or 3 digits or 4 digits times by 1 digit numbers. And now we are going to move on. It's brand new for everybody. So please don't worry if you don't get it by the end of this lesson, because it's one of those things where you just have to practice and practice and practice until you get it, and I'm sure you will. Also, you need to be quite confident now in your times tables. It would be really helpful if you know most of your times tables up to 12 times 12, and it will really help you with long multiplication. Okay, there's a reason why you're seeing me and not the White Rose videos. The White Rose videos are absolutely brilliant, as we know. However, they tend to use methods that we don't use in year 5 or at St. Joseph's. They use something called the grid method, which is fine to use. It's just a little bit of a longer way of doing it, and we like to get straight into the formal method of doing it, and it's a little bit quicker because we know you can do it as well. They also use lots and lots of place value counters and visuals, which we know are absolutely fantastic, but sometimes they can be a little bit of a distraction when really we just need to get on with the formal written method, and that's another word for long multiplication. So in a second, I am going to get it's literally going to be me, and we're going to do it all together with a pen and a piece of paper. So you might want to run and grab a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper. We're going to do it nice and slowly together. We're going to practice, and we're going to do this tomorrow and Thursday as well. So let's try our best. And in a second, you will be looking at my piece of paper and my hand and my pen, and we're going to work on this together. Okay, so go and get everything that you need, and then come back and join me in a second if you want to hit pause. Right, so here we go. So we are multiplying 2 digits by 2 digits, known as long multiplication, or the formal method of long multiplication. So hopefully you can see this okay. So I have 23 times 31. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know my 23 times tables, and I don't know my 31 times tables. So sometimes we need to know how to calculate something like this, especially if we haven't got a calculator handy. Now, what I did is I actually turned my paper so the lines are going down the page, and this is to help me with my place value. So I've got my 1s and my 10s, so it's to help me keep my numbers in a nice straight line. So let's have a look. We always start, we have a look at the bottom number, and I have 31. Now I know that 31 can be partitioned into 30 and 1. It's 3 10s and 1 1. As always, when we're working out a calculation, we always start with the 1s. So just for the minute, I want you just to forget about that 3. And we're going to do it as if it's a short multiplication. So we're timesing by 1 first. Timesing by 1 first. This one here. Okay? So what we do is we go 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. So you times by the 1s, times by the 10s. So I've got 2 10s and 3 1s. Next step, we now need to times our 30. Okay, so we're going to look at the 3, and we're going to say 3 times 3 and then 3 times 2. But before that, we're not actually multiplying by 3, we're multiplying by 30. So we need to put our 0 placeholder down before we do anything else. And this is where our calculation will go wrong if we forget that 0 before we do anything else with this tens number. Okay, so my 0 is down. So now I say 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so here I times by 1, and here I times by my 30. So in total, 31. The last step then is your addition. So you're going to do 3 add 0, 2 add 9, which is 11. So I need to exchange my 1. And then we say 6 add 1 is 7. So my answer to my original calculation, which is 23 times 31, my answer is 713. Okay, we're going to try another one in a second. Okay, hopefully you can see this one okay. So I've got another 2-digit times 2-digit number. I have 41 times 26. Again, this is quite tricky to work out if you haven't got a calculator handy. So let's get started. Right, so as always, we have our ones and our tens column, and we make sure our ones and our tens are lined up nicely. So here I have 26, and just like before, 26 can be partitioned into 20 and a 6. We are going to start with the ones number like we did last time, okay? So we're going to do 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24. So here we times by the 6. Next, we need to times by the 20. Okay, so I'm going to look at my 2 tens. But before I start doing anything with my 2 tens, I must put down that 0, because it's not timesing by 2, we're timesing by 20. Okay, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8. And then our final step is to add the 2 together. I times by my 6, I times by my 20, so now we have to add. So we have 6 add 0 is 6, 4 add 2 is 6, 8 add 2 is 10. So my final answer is 41 times 26 equals 1066. So remember, you times by whatever the ones digit is, you put your 0 down, and then you times by whatever the tens digit is, and then you add them together. Okay? So why don't you try this now? 16 times 42. Okay, 16 times 42. Pause the video and see if you can work that one out. And then I'm gonna solve it on here as well, so you can check along with me. Okay, so off you go and do that now. Press pause. Okay, so let's see if you were successful, and if you weren't, please don't panic. So you have 16 times 42. Okay, so my 42 can be partitioned, as always, into 40 and 2. Okay, we're going to start with the ones. We've got our ones and our tens. We're always going to start with the ones. So 2 times 6 is 12. Now, it doesn't matter where you put the little 1 to carry, but always make sure it's a little teeny one so it doesn't get mixed up with some of the other numbers. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2. And don't forget to add your little 1 on to give us 3. Okay, so I did 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2. Add that little 1 and I get 3. So I have times by my 2. Now I need to times by the 4, but it's not just 4, it's representing 4 tens, which is 40. So I must put my 0 down, don't forget. So let's carry on. 4 times 6, because we always start with the ones, 4 times 6 is 24. Little 2, doesn't matter where you put it, just make it really small. 4 times 1 is 4. Add on my 2 and I have 6. Doesn't matter if you write over it. And then we do our final step. 2 add nothing is 2. 3 add 4 is 7. 6 add nothing is 6. So 16 times 42 is 672. Did you get that one right? Okay. Now, I want you to have a look at this question here. So this person, we'll pretend it was a different person, did this calculation. 32 times 46. And this is what they did. But they made a mistake somewhere. So I'm wondering if you can find the mistake with me. Let's see. So we have 46, so we know we always have to start with the 6. So 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. Add the 1 and we have 19. So the timesing by the 6, that all seems fine. Now timesing by the 4 tens. Let's check. 4 tens is 40, so I must put down my Oh, what have they forgot to do? They forgot to put their 0. So the timesing by, they only times by 4 when actually it should have been times by 40. And that's where they went wrong. So we must always put our 0. Okay, and then final question on my next page. Let's have a look at this. Let's make a link to our area and perimeter last week. So I'm going to pretend I have a rectangle here that's 35 centimeters long and 16 centimeters wide, and I want to find the area. Now I know the formula for area is length times width, okay? So the length times the width. Now I can work this out by using long multiplication. 35 times 16. Let's give it a go together. 35 times 16. If you want, you can pause the video here and see if you can do it independently now. And if you're still not 100% sure, it's fine. You just do it with me. Okay, so pause the video or stick with me. Ones, tens. Always start with the ones. 6 times 5, 30. 6 times 3, 18. Add my 3, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's 21. So here I've times by my 6, but I know that 16 can be partitioned into 10 and 6. So now I need to times by 10. I need to put my 0, and then I can just use my 1, 110. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm going to add. Okay. Sorry, it's a little bit messy. 0 add 0 is nothing. 1 add 5 is 6. And 3 add 2 is 5. Now remember, we're finding area because it's a rectangle. So I need to remember my units. Centimeters squared. Okay. Right, I hope that was useful, and what I want you to do now is I want you to go onto your independent practice sheet and just try your best. Practice makes perfect, and we are going to do this again tomorrow and on Thursday, so please don't worry. The numbers will be getting a little bit larger, but the system to how we do it is exactly the same. There are lots of YouTube videos out there as well if you want to have a look at them, or if you want to look at the White Rose videos, go ahead. I'm not saying this is the best video, but I just thought maybe if I did it and you can see a familiar face and a familiar voice, it might help you than seeing, you know, somebody else doing it. But please, by all means, have a look at what else is out there online if it will help you. Give it a try, see how you get on, and yeah, well, I'll see you in tomorrow's video then instead. Okay, good luck and try your best.